This girl is trying to get close to a rich young man, wants to marry into a rich family. She risked her life, jumped from a building hundreds of meters high. And sure enough, the rich man saw this and staged a heroic rescue. He and the girl embraced each other and fell down together. Luckily, an air cushion had been laid at the bottom of the building. Neither of them was in danger of dying. The girl wasn't touched by this. She just looked at the rich guy who saved her life indifferently. Then she pretended to faint. The rich man ignored the pain he was in. He followed the ambulance as soon as possible. He took the girl to the hospital. By now, the rich boy had fallen into the girl's trap. And all this, the real mastermind behind all this, was the girl's mother. It turns out that 30 years ago, a woman was killed overnight and her family was ruined. Her newborn child was switched by a female doctor and turned into a dead baby. Her husband was robbed of his patent and killed by a giant corporation. So she took her revenge. She took the doctor's eldest daughter and spent the next 28 years developing her into her own tool for revenge. Today, with the patents that should have belonged to her husband, it has become one of the biggest companies in the country. But even now, they are still stealing. They continue to steal other people's patents. When the woman learned of this, when the woman found out about it, she went to find someone to convince the man whose pen had been taken away. He made a scene at the 50th anniversary celebration of the company. As a direct result of this, the group's reputation was seriously affected. Many investments were lost. The woman took the opportunity to act as an investor. As an investor in the group, she also asked the girl to get close to the only son of the plutocrats, to break up the marriage between the two families. She also had the girl risk her life. To have the man who stole the pen taken hostage. Then she succeeds in attracting the attention of the rich young man. The two have a shared experience of falling from a building. The relationship between the two is made more delicate by their shared experience of falling off the building. The plan is going according to the woman's vision. It's the doctor's turn. On this day, the doctor and the plutocrat's wife go to an auction. There was a painting of a mother and daughter that intrigued the doctor, because the moment she saw it, she was reminded of her missing eldest daughter. So she wanted to bid for the painting at a price of $1 billion. Just as the sale was about to take place, a mystery man came out of nowhere, offered $2 billion for the painting. The plutocrat's wife saw how much the doctor liked the painting. She even asked if she needed to borrow money, but the price of $2 billion was already more than the value of the painting itself. The doctor had no choice but to give up. She went home and drank her wine in anger, unaware that the mystery man was the woman of vengeance. However, the woman who stole the painting she wanted was only the first step to revenge. After that, the doctor received anonymous deliveries inexplicably. Curious, she opened the first delivery. Inside was a bracelet for a newborn baby. Although she was puzzled, but she didn't think anything of it. But when she opened the second delivery, she found a pink princess outfit inside. She instantly turned pale. At the engagement party for the marriage of two powerful families, no sooner had the parents settled it down, the woman's mother was in a hurry to leave. But it's not that she's against the marriage. It's because her eldest daughter, who has been missing for 30 years, suddenly there is news. The lady doctor has no regard for the feelings of her youngest daughter. She gets up and leaves, and so the engagement party, which hadn't even begun, and so it was over in a hurry. The doctor rushed over to the house. She found that the person she had found was not her lost daughter. It was just someone who looked like her. Unbeknownst to her, this was all deliberately revealed to her by Miyeon, who had taken her daughter, who had taken her away, had deliberately given her false information so that the woman doctor could live in constant pain. The pain of separation between mother and daughter to avenge the death of her child. But this is just the beginning. That day, the doctor received two anonymous packages out of the blue. One was a newborn baby's bracelet. The other was a pink princess outfit. When the female doctor saw the clothes, she was instantly devastated because she instantly recognized the princess outfit. It was the dress her eldest daughter had been wearing when she disappeared. The doctor's husband thought she was sick again. He called the nanny to bring the medicine, but the doctor said she was sober and pulled out a photo of her daughter in a pink princess dress when she was a child and showed it to her husband. She insisted that this was her daughter's dress. The man looked at her in pain. He felt very bad. He immediately called his man. He told her to find out who had sent the package. After that, Mayan took the female doctor's own restaurant. Not only did she hang on the wall the painting of a mother and daughter that the doctor wanted so much, she also arranged for a little girl in a pink princess dress to be in the hall. Under Mi-Yan's constant stimulation, the moment she saw the little girl, she rushed straight to her. She hugged her in one hand. She was shouting her eldest daughter's name. She was like a crazy person. There was no sign of the elegant lady she had been before. The lady doctor could never have imagined her eldest daughter was standing right behind her. Mi-Yan looked on indifferently. Then she pretended to be worried. She took the doctor to the restroom, although she was comforting her with her words, but in her heart she was secretly smiling. She couldn't even recognize her own daughter. After all the fuss, the doctor felt physically and mentally exhausted, so she said goodbye to Mi-Yan and left. At the end of the day, the doctor and her husband took out the anonymous package again. What they couldn't understand was if a package of clothes was sent by the person who took her daughter, then she sent the newborn's bracelet. What did it mean? Suddenly, the doctor remembered something. She thought the newborn bracelet. She thought it might have something to do with the swapping of babies 30 years ago, but it was clearly on the news at the time. The woman had been buried in the fire, so the only people who knew about it were herself and her husband, and the nurse who saw the whole thing. It was then that the doctor realized she hadn't seen the nurse for a long time, and Mi-Yan started looking for the nurse, the girl who finally met her true love. But she never expected she fell in love with the son of her mother's enemy. The girl looked at the email from her mother. She feels that the world has changed and cowered in the corner, not knowing what to do. If her mother found out, she had not only gone back to her country secretly without her knowledge, and even fell in love with the son of her enemy, she would be disappointed in her. The girl thought about it for a long time. In the end, she chose her mother because she knew how hard her mother had worked all these years. So, the girl disappeared from the world of men without a word and returned to her mother's side. 3 years had passed. The man had accepted his family's arrangement. He was engaged to another woman, but just at that moment, the girl reappears in the man's life and becomes his subordinate. But she pretended that they had never met before. In response to the man's questions, the girl acted impatient. She opens the door and throws him out. The man's fiancée, Sarah, sees this scene. She was suspicious. She felt that they were hiding something from her. And that's when, before she could even think about it, the president of the company, who had been forced to take away the pen, came to the company and made a scene. He even took the girl as a hostage. Luckily, the man saved her in time. This made the two of them an instant hit. The image of them falling from the building together went viral on the internet. The company's credibility was in jeopardy. When the girl found out about it, she immediately came up with a solution for the company. She got the company to settle with the troublemakers, creating the company's image of generosity. The company's crisis was turned into an opportunity. She won the approval of the man's father. She then invites the girl to his home for dinner. But Sarah looks very unhappy. She was upset that her fiancé had risked his life to save the girl. She's always been upset, unbeknownst to her. The girl has set this up deliberately to ruin Sarah's relationship with the man, to stop their family marriage, to avenge her mother's death. The next day, when the girl goes to the man's house for dinner, Sarah pretended to make out with the man in front of the girl. She says she wants to introduce her to a boyfriend. The girl didn't refuse. She smiled and agreed. This made the man feel very uncomfortable, because although the girl said she had never met him, but he felt that she was his first girlfriend from 3 years ago. So he left the table on the pretext of getting a drink. Then he went to find the girl alone. He asked her why she was pretending not to know him. This time the girl didn't deny it outright. Instead, she asked the man, even if she really was his first love, what would that change? He was going to get married soon. When the man heard this, the man's body unconsciously moved forward to kiss the girl. At that moment, Sarah saw him again. They didn't want to make a big deal out of it. The elders of the family knew about it, so the three of them went outside. Without saying a word, Sarah, she went up to the girl and slapped her. In front of the man, the girl didn't fight back, but waited until they were alone. Before returning the slap with a vengeance, she mocked her for being a wretch who didn't even trust her fiancé. Then she walked away. As she was leaving, she said something to the man. Honestly, I'm impressed. This put the man in a dilemma.